The earth is a circuit board. This is Malachi, and I want you to really, really think about the different aspects of circuitry. We have an organic circuitry, which I would say are the tides, the winds, gold and silver veins and deposits, aspects of maybe diamonds, and the different crystals and caves and things that we find all across this world, that even within the root systems of trees and plants and the interconnection with all that, ebb and flow of the tide, so on and so forth. It creates this organic and giant circuitry. It's almost like our bodies. We take in food and nutrients. It keeps our heart moving. Same thing applies to the earth. And then we have a digital circuitry, the one that is allowing me to create what I'm creating now, to put the pictures on the screen so you can see whatever it is that I put up there at the moment. Don't quite know yet. But it's beyond that, because there's nothing new under the sun. So what I'm about to tell you will tie in the whole concept of a flat earth and the whole concept of Lucifer's reign on the earth. And I'm going to throw in some bits and pieces, a little bit of knowledge. So you might want to take notes of the different times that God has actually had to intervene. And if he hadn't intervened, we wouldn't even be here having this discussion right now, because it all have gone too far, and we would be permanently entrapped in this world that's a matrix. Because as I stated in other videos that I've done in the past, that it says in the Bible, in the beginning God created the heaven, singular, and the earth, singular. Now, we all can, I think most of us can say that the heaven goes on infinitely. There's no end. So why is it that we allow one thing to go on forever and another thing not to go on forever? But I don't want to get too far off on that, because I don't want you to lose focus of what I'm trying to say when I say the earth is a circuit board. Is that when God gave reign of this earth, in my opinion, to Lucifer and the angels, on which at that time they fell, they deceived a third of the angels, but also during that time Lucifer injected his religion upon the people who were living at that time. See, I believe that God gave Lucifer this earth to watch over while he slept on the seventh day. And when he returned to kind of like somebody had placed a password on his computer. He wasn't able to get in and change anything. And everything that he'd created, everything that he put in there, for him to just unplug it would be to destroy it. And he wasn't willing to do that. So what he did to intervene, to come within that system that was kind of like a computer, like what I'm saying, kind of controlled, is he had to create a new bloodline that would come in. See, because prior to this age, the circuitry and the digital aspect of what I'm talking about was more organic, meaning we see the pyramids all over the world, which I believe those are aspects of circuitry, of power. And I think at some point in time we may see a lot of them. And there are pyramids on every continent, all over the world. And they're all there just like a circuit board is on a circuit, where it has CPUs and different aspects of the circuitry. So they're very important to where when they begin to get turned on, it's more than just a computerized circuitry where it needs electricity. This is a computerized circuitry that's based off organic matter. And I believe, personally, that was once being used, and that was what, in reality, kept God out. And then God forms a new man in that organic world. It was like a back door into a digital world. It was a way of hacking in to his world that he got locked out of, hacking into his own system organically through blood. And throughout the time, as we get to Noah's time, the system, its power and its grab, like today with electronics, I mean, it's everywhere. Eye in the sky, you can't do nothing without being tracked. Matter of fact, my son yesterday, we were at a park, and he posted a picture, and it said, were you here? It knew where he was at. And this has all happened before, but at one other stage, it was in organic matter. And that was the reason why God had to step in Genesis 6 and flood the world. He had to short circuit that organic circuitry. You get what I'm saying? Or you follow along with what I'm saying as best that you can. That's why I'm asking you if you can take notes, because I'm going to continue on with this. Now, just as with any computer, when there's a virus, or it assumes that there's a virus, let's say Satan is working on this earth, and this is his circuit board, either organic or electronic. God infiltrates through the bloodline. Then he tries to find a way to basically kill off that virus, assuming Satan feels that God's intervention is a virus. You get what I'm saying? Okay, I think most of you do. So, God floods the earth because it was getting to a point to where it would totally destroy and take over the whole system. Basically, kill your computer. And then we had another stage that was after that. It was different organic circuitry, a different organic type takeover to this circuit board, which is the earth. And the one was trying to do it through blood, and the second was trying to do it through communication, like it is now. And that was the Tower of Babel. And God had to come down and destroy that as well. So there's one stage. The first, prior to Adam having to be introduced. Then we had another, which was the flood. And then we have the Tower of Babel. And then over the course of time, God continues with his bloodline, because that's what it was all about. Because obviously, Christ had to come through the bloodline of Adam. He was outside of that matrix, so to speak. He was outside of that system. He didn't have the virus from Lucifer's grasp upon this world by locking God out of this system. I'm using technology, computer terms, so you can kind of put two and two together with what I'm saying, instead of trying to be too complicated. I don't want to lose too many people, but I know I will. But that's okay. You'll get it at some point in time. Just listen back to what I'm saying. You'll put it all together. So what had to happen is there's a lot of things that had to happen, but I'm making it simple. The second one before Christ was Moses. Now Moses had to come back into Egypt, because Egypt at that time was ruling and controlling and enslaving the remnants of the bloodline of Adam. So Moses had to come back and set it free, and then when he left, he also took with him the ark. And from that point forward, that kind of power that Lucifer had on this earth, with, in my opinion, all the pyramids kind of working together as some sort of superconductor or something, Moses took with him that. He took the Ark of the Covenant with him, the remnants of that with him. That's why Satan wanted to know where his bones were. And I think it was more than his bones that he wanted. He wanted the certain aspects of the Ark so he could restart his machine. So now we get to Christ, and Christ, what he does first is he's baptized, and then he's also tempted by his brother. He had to get into that matrix, so to speak. He had to infiltrate into that computer. Like I said, I'm using computer technology to really talk about a difference between an organic, which is the earth, as a computer, which is a real circuit board as a computer. So God infiltrated into the system through his son Christ, which in reality had to almost separate himself from him in order for him to become tempted, be pure within the system, enough to know to whether accept it or take it or reject it. And then he had to allow himself, this is Christ I'm talking about, he had to allow himself to actually be crucified within this organic structure, this earth, within this circuit board called the earth. He had to allow himself to be crucified so then he could then descend to the pit with the power that he overcame by going through this earth without sin, to then be able to bind Satan, Lucifer, and take him from actually at that point having power throughout. Now you were getting into the Roman era, to have the complete power to lock out God of this earth almost completely. You see, the time when Christ was here during the Roman Empire, it was a crucial moment in time, just like it was at the Tower of Babel, just like it was before the flood, just like it was during Egypt. They were only just maybe a few hundred years away, if that, from where we are today. See, it took Christ to be crucified, destroying this unseen world, this organic, or as I'm calling it, circuit board technology, which is almost a barrier between man and God, or his ability to even come here to save anybody. So with Christ's crucifixion at that specific point in time during the Roman Empire, that had to happen. You look at our own technology and our own state that we're in today. Just within the last 120 years, we've created cars, airplanes, technology that we think is beyond belief, but it's a combination of today's technology, this digital technology, and the combination of the organic technology, the circuit board of the earth combined together. This is the ultimate, and the way that Satan was trying to block out God completely out of this system. And it took Christ to open the door to create kind of a way to escape, or a way to actually make it worthwhile for even God to come back. To be honest with you, sometimes I feel it's that way, because even with the Egyptians, not the Egyptians, with the Israelites, there was many times that he's about ready to get rid of them all. It's happened more than once in time, because there's always other things going on. Now, we think that our technology today is great, and we have the abilities to do all these different things. Yes, we do have a lot of abilities, but a lot of these abilities they've been done before. So when Christ was crucified, he's able to enter into this organic circuitry, this organic circuit board, and bind Satan and his abilities to continue and to go further. And then you have the fall of Rome. And then we've had almost 2,000 years of things working their way back. This knowledge coming back to man. Now we have where we are today. Weapons of war, weapons of communication, tracking, all these different aspects. This technology allows us to calculate things that were almost impossible before. Machines creating things that have ability to even my line of work that I used to do, which was welding and fitting, and I worked at Boeing and I built tools. Now machines can do a lot of that stuff. So the accuracy is to a point where it's just beyond belief. Almost to the same as what it was before. If you look at some of the construction of the ancients, you'll find abilities to cut in stone that we still don't have today, or to even make the pyramid is almost an impossibility. But however, like I said, there's nothing new under the sun. It's all been done before. It's just this is just a different stage of it all. So, with the setting of the sun and the ending of an age, and the soon return of Lucifer back upon this earth, with both organic technology and this digital technology, I'm pretty sure he will try, just as his minions are now, try to jumpstart the system and totally, absolutely block out God. I think that's why we see at the 7th trump this massive final battle on this earth of God actually having to break that barrier and almost hit that delete button. But there'll be a millennium, and there'll be a time that will be almost like a refresh button. And we'll have 1,000 years of not this earth being run or controlled by Lucifer, but run and controlled by Christ himself. The firstborn had his opportunity and he wasted it. And just as Jacob and Esau, Jacob shall inherit the kingdom. This Malachi Church for State sounding out. Hug your kids, call your parents, go see a neighbor, repent, and be baptized.